Holy shit, man. All right. Shut up, Nick. Just shut up.
Just get in the car.
Oh, God, dude, just let me think. Just
drive, drive,
I'm not
drive.
kidding. Okay,
You
all
drive,
right.
I'll shoot. Go.
I'm driving. Oh, God. I picked the wrong car. This is way too fast. I'm spinning.
Just fucking drive. Ow!
Hold on, let me use my special ability to go real slow. All right. In the meantime, let's talk about some GTA. All right. GTA 5, Grand Theft Auto 5. The game with the most controversy that I've seen since, Bulletstorm, I guess. Bulletstorm had quite a bit. What came out in 2012 that had a lot of controversy?
Mass Effect 3.
Did Mass Effect 3 get a lot of controversy?
All the sex scenes.
I thought that was Mass Effect 2, but...
No, it was
maybe.
3.
Oh, 3 got it too? Oh, excellent. Well, this is this year's controversial game, people. Everyone, all those political people, yeah, video games, look, you can kill hookers in this. I'm like, so?
Hookers.
You probably killed a few hookers in your time, old man, in real life. Yes, Grand Theft Auto 5, the story about,
3 bank robbers trying to make it big in the world.
3 separate protagonists, too, and you play as each of them. It's quite interesting, though, with that dynamic, because we've seen this done in the past, Nick, like, last year we had, Resident Evil 6, had 3 different protagonists, actually,
Technically had 6.
Yeah,
7, actually. Well, 8 if you get the update, but we'll just say 7.
Yeah, we'll go with 7, we'll go with the 3 different storylines, let's go with that.
Yes, whereas this one's one storyline with 3 people.
Exactly. And honestly, I think the one storyline with 3 different people works better than 3 different stories trying to get into one massive story. Because honestly, Resident Evil 6, when that game was coming out, I was like, oh, this is going to be awesome, Finally, I don't have to, it's going to be interesting. I haven't seen this done in a long time.
And then failed.
It failed pretty miserably, too. It was just like, oh, you guys can't make this work, can you? Okay. Unlike GTA 5, Grand Theft Auto 5, they do it. This is actually, without a doubt, the best Grand Theft Auto to come out ever.
Oh yeah.
I was about to say, I don't know if you agree or disagree with that, because it's quite nice because they actually give you a reason to switch between the characters. Not only do they have different personalities and there are actually different types of people, not just, oh, here's old white man 1, here's old white man 2. It's actually, here's old white man, here's crazy white dude, and here's typical gangster black dude.
Who doesn't want to be a gangster.
Who does not want to be a gangster, which is something rare, because usually it's like, I grew up here, motherfucker. I'm gonna,
Yeah, this the hood, nigga.
Yeah, I'm thinking of San Andreas, where he's just, I hated that game, because honestly, I could not play as a gangbanger. When they're just like, oh yeah, it's the rolling 80s, motherfucker, let's go get the... I was like, I don't care. I'm gonna go to the community college and try to get better myself. See ya. And that's what I like about Franklin, where he's just like, I'm gonna do shitty things, but I'm still trying to better myself. I don't want to stay in this shithole. There's no pride in this shithole. It's a shithole. Speaking of which, the characters are, we have... the 3 different protagonists. Michael, who is old bank robbery dude who made it big,
and is having marital issues.
Yeah, and that's kind of his whole story arc is, my family's bastards, and he kind of has a Sopranos feel to him, without the mob part, but with this family all being a bunch of assholes.
Yeah.
And, with him being in the middle of it, and him going to the therapist, for God's sakes, I'm like, okay, a little Soprano-y there.
And
you got
Trevor.
that. And then we got Trevor, who is...
the psychopathic meth head.
He's kind of my favorite character in a way, where he's so goddamn out there that it's just so funny. Like Scott, he showed me his picture of Trevor sitting on a mountain top, just wearing a dress for no fucking reason at all.
And I've noticed whenever you switch to Trevor, and you can switch to when you're not playing as the other 2 characters, they're just living their own lives. Mm-hmm. Trevor is always the one getting chased by the cops. Everyone else is just in their house, eating some chips, watching TV or whatever. Trevor is he's always in trouble for what seems to be, he always either kills someone or he rapes a little girl.
Oh, Jesus Christ, he raped a little girl?
I don't know, I was driving away from the cops as him, and he's like, I swear to God, she didn't tell me she was 12.
Oh my God! I was like, the best things I had happen whenever I'd switched to Trevor randomly was One, when he woke up next to a bunch of dead
I've
Merryweather,
had that
which are
one.
the private military people. They're, a bunch of mercs, bunch of dead mercs, and he's in his whitey tighties underwear just waking up, and he's drunk too. And then I also had the one where it just goes to the pier and he's underneath and some dude's all tied up and he duct tape mouth and he's just like, you better think about it next time. And then, of course, you could just walk away as Trevor, or you could do what I did, pull out my pistol and just shoot the dude in the face, because I'm figuring that's what Trevor would do.
Yeah, he tied him under the dock so that he'd drown at high tide.
Yeah, well, that's that too.
Yeah, see, I don't know. I had him wake up hanging over the side of a balcony on the bridge in his underwear drunk. And I switched to him and he was taking a shit behind a dumpster.
Oh yeah. I've switched to him doing that. I've switched to him taking a piss. He's really one of the most outlandish, craziest characters I have seen in a video game in some time.
At least I haven't switched to him jerking off. I'm thankful for that one.
I'm very thankful for that one too, because I'm just like, oh, that would be pretty bad. And then we got Franklin, who is the ex-gangbanger we were talking about, where, he wasn't even, that's one thing I like about his character, you think like, I say ex-gangbanger, your first thoughts might be like, oh, so when you first start out in him, you gotta do a bunch of gang shit. No. You first start out with him, he's still trying to make a better of himself. He's working for this car company, this dealership, and he's a repo guy. And the car company's doing some shitty stuff. It actually, honestly, that car dealership guy kind of reminded me as if Nico Bellic trying to go legit for some reason. Or Nico's cousin from GTA 4.
Yeah.
He really reminded me a lot of Nico's cousin, where he's just
Except not fat and retarded.
Well, yeah, but this Eastern European piece of shit who's trying to rip people off and doing stupid things, and then, of course, it wouldn't surprise me if I saw Nico Bellic come in and help him out or whatever. But we'll stick with the story right now. How'd you feel about the story?
Oh, I love the ever-living shit out of it.
I have to agree. Yeah, the story is fucking amazing. Like, Rockstar has not told a bad story yet, in my opinion. I mean, L.A. Noire was a real hard one for me to get through, and you didn't even get through it.
I didn't, because I felt like the end of the murder case was a good ending, so I stopped.
Yeah. Which I'm glad they didn't, initiate any of the L.A. Noire stuff. But they know how to make dark, gritty stories, but still have some outlandish shit happen. Like, this is nowhere near as dark as, say, like, Max Payne 3, where it was just like, what the fuck? I feel depressed now. But it wasn't as goofy as, some of the previous GTAs. It's not as goofy as, like, Grand Theft Auto, San Andreas, or any of the earlier ones. It's really in the realm of 4. It's about as even as 4 is.
Yeah. But then again, I was telling you, I just because you can just find random fucking people on the street and you can choose to do whatever you want with them or whatever they need. And so I pick up a girl and it turns out she's batshit insane.
Oh yeah. You were telling me about the batshit insane lady who's like screaming, who's like, oh, the goddamn birds! The goddamn...
Yeah, and she keeps saying like, Mama never let me have men over, but Mama's dead now.
It's like almost you picked up Carrie. Except for she didn't have the psychic powers. It's like, what if that little girl never had the powers, and this is what happened to her? Is like, she's just batshit and crazy, and honestly, that's probably what would have happened to her.
Honestly, when I first picked her up, she kind of reminded me of, like,
Norman Bates?
Yes, actually, yes. A lot of Norman Bates, because she's just obsessed with her mom, but she seems like a crazy killer. And, like, if you call her up and she's busy, one of the lines she says is, I can't right now, I got a problem I really need to bury.
Does she say bury, like, wait, is this actually her talking, or is it a text?
It's actually her like, when you call her, she's like, hey, you want to hook up? No, I can't right now, I have a problem I need to bury.
Was this a stranger mission, or was this
this was just
random encounter?
This was just a random fucking encounter.
Wow. That is kind of crazy how they give you, like, a phone number for a random fucking encounter.
Well, cause I dropped her off at her house, and then, she's like, oh, hey, you're silly, you're funny, I like you, call me.
Oh, yeah, and that's one thing I'm glad they did, cause honestly, you look at like Grand Theft Auto 4, they didn't really have the crazy characters. It's like they took a page out of Red Dead Redemption. They're like, well, Red Dead had some batshit crazy people. Let's throw some of those people in there. And some of the people you meet, they're your normal shitbird. You're like, fuck you. Like, honestly, I swear like the agents in this game are direct descendants from the agents in Red Dead. They're just douchebaggery asshole motherfuckers.
Yeah. And then there's, some, especially the strangers. Like, there's 2 old British people you can find as Trevor, who want you to go, like, kidnap a celebrity for them, and then when it doesn't work out, you need to kill him by placing a car that he's tied in on a train tracks and watching it explode when the train hits it.
Oh, God, that'd be so cool. Yeah, this game is, honestly, this does something that, story-wise, this game really is just awesome. I mean, it starts out strong. It starts out strong. You're like, yeah, it starts out strong. And then you get to be Franklin for a while. You're like, okay, it's starting to slow down. It does slow down in the middle. This is just how it is.
Until he repos a car from Michael's son.
Yeah, then he repos Michael, and that's how Michael gets introduced. And then you play as Michael, you're switching back and forth. Each of them have their own specific story missions. What I also thought was awesome, Nick, though, is if they have a mission that all 3 of them, or at least 2 of them do, depending who you pick is where you walk in on that scene.
Yeah.
And I love that. So if you picked Franklin for some scenes, you like walk in and you're like, oh, they're in the middle of talking about shit. But if you like, for some reason you had to exit or whatever, you go back, you pick like, say, Trevor, you get to see that beginning scene and then you see, oh, Franklin, what's going on? And then that's when he walks in. And it's really cool how that works. I'm actually quite amazed, Nick. I was telling you this, that they did not introduce any co-op in this game. Being that you basically throughout the whole game always have somebody with you. Even if it's not Franklin or Michael or Trevor, it's usually somebody else that is with you. And I'm kind of amazed that they didn't add some co-op partner in there, being that you always have this AI person.
My guess is that it's just because what you described is just GTA Online.
True. But in GTA Online, you get to create your own character and do all that.
I'm just saying, like, it's the same concept of, open world co-op / PvP.
/ PvP. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I'm not saying it didn't hurt the story, that in fact, like, I wasn't sitting there like, damn it, I wish Nick could join me in this adventure. No, it was still something that compelled the ever-living shit out of me. And just the fact that each one of your characters is a different type of shitbird is just awesome. Like, Michael, he is this, like, alcoholic, blows up at the slightest touch type of personality, So, he pulls down the entire house because this guy is sleeping with his wife, which, a little extreme, but for his type of personality.
He's got anger issues.
Yeah, he has major anger issues. And he also has that, past complex where he's, where he's sitting there, like, remembering the glory days the entire time. Like, oh man, when I used to rob banks, I was a champion, I was awesome. Now I'm just, now I'm here, I'm lazy, my family sucks, I wish I could rob banks again. And that's kind of his personality, he's just remembering the glory days. He's gotten fat, not fat, but, he's out of shape. He has a really weird hunch, which just, God, that kind of bugged me sometimes.
It's just bad posture, probably from sitting on the couch all day.
I mean, that is really bad. I mean, I'm not saying I have good posture in the stretch of the imagination, but this dude is like, yes, master. Like, he's close to that. He is close to Igor status. I'm just like, God, stand up. You can't tell me you don't just stretch your back once in a while. And then we got Franklin, who is, his character is just kind of the whole, like, I want to get out of the hood. He's the least steep of all the characters.
Sorry.
I don't know what the hell was that. How would you describe Franklin besides, just guy trying to get out of the hood, trying to make a name, I guess?
That pretty much describes Franklin.
Yeah, he doesn't have a deep, like, Michael, I almost want to say Michael is the main character in the story and the other 2 are big side characters, because the story really does focus a lot on Michael and Michael's personal life. You really don't know much about Franklin's personal life except for the fact that, he has a crazy aunt. That's
crazy feminist aunt.
A crazy feminist aunt who is really ghetto. Like, she is a stereotypical black woman if I've ever seen her.
And his, really thug life best friend.
His really thug life best friend that I don't know if this is how they talk, like where they talk down to each other a lot, but they really, it's like at many times it seems like.
For me, it felt like Ren and Stimpy.
Yeah, they're not, I would, like, calling them friends is really a stretch, because, half the time he's just like, yo man, you fucking stupid. And yes, I did leave out a lot of the N-word in there, because everything those two say have to be like, oh my god, this is worse than Django.
Well, Django's only 3 hours long. This is like a 20-hour story.
Yeah, true, it's a 20-hour story. Yeah, and then of course the most important characters, one of the most interesting characters I've seen in a video game in some time, Trevor. Where this guy is he is close to being some neo-Nazi, kamikaze, crazy fucking I say Michael blows up, not even at the slightest. If you just get mad at him for sleeping with your girlfriend, he will kill you.
Trevor's ability, because all of them have their own special ability, Trevor's ability is to get really angry and just start shooting.
Yeah, true. And he has powerful bullets. I'm trying to remember where I've seen that concept. Where, their bullets just get enhanced when you click in the thing. Oh, it was Army of Two. Yeah.
Powerful bullets, and he just doesn't feel pain.
Yeah, he is batshit crazy. He lives in a trailer park. He is if fucking Bryan Cranston for Breaking Bad decided he just lost it. He just went apeshit crazy. Because this dude's a meth dealer, and if you cross him in the slightest, he kills everybody. Not just you. He'd kill your friends. He kills anybody who's associated with you.
He kills the people mourning your death.
Yeah, he'll kill the people mourning your death. For God's sake. Yeah, he kills, they're like the biker gang's about to have a funeral for their lost people that you killed, and you're like, oh, well, just to cover the bases, I'm gonna kill them all.
And, anyone who calls him a motherfucker, he kills.
Oh yeah, and even if you're just a random person, he beat the shit out of the street performer just for being there. He's just like, I hate your music, and just punches him in the face, takes his guitar, and beats the hell out of him. I was like, dude, what the fuck? And he is really the wild card in the bunch. It's kind of weird in the story where he starts crying and shit, and you're just like, dude, what the fuck? And they kind of get into his backstory a little bit, but not too much. I mean, all you know is he's an ex-Air Force pilot, got kicked out for being him, for just being fucking unstable, and his whole reason for being in the Air Force is because he wanted to drop bombs and kill people. So, yeah, not surprising he got kicked out. So those are the characters, folks. Now time to get into the most important part. Besides the whole game, last part of the story is the whole game is a heist. It's essentially the most complicated, most elongated heist movie. Where they complete a bunch of different heists, and they have to take care of people, FBI or FIB. I don't know why they couldn't just use FBI.
Because that's trademarked.
Is FBI really trademarked?
Yeah.
Wow, seriously. Huh.
Plus, this is a fictional universe where the entirety of what is basically California is just an island.
It is essentially an island.
It literally is an island.
Isn't it an island? I thought there was a part of it you can't go across.
No, it's just a straight up island in the middle of nowhere.
Huh. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's kind of how, they made New York City to be, too. Where it was just basically an island.
Manhattan is just an island.
Was it supposed to be just Manhattan?
Yeah.
I do have to say though, they were touting on how big this game is. It is big. It has a huge map.
It's not that big.
It's not, I was hearing them say well, Grand Theft Auto 4 is only going to be one small island on this. No, it's about the same as Grand Theft Auto 4, to be honest with you. Maybe a little bit bigger, but, it ain't. It's no bigger than, it's no bigger than Red Dead. It's no bigger. It's really just about the same size as all that.
Well, if you think, it takes a while to drive from one end of the map to the other, going at, 90 miles an hour. But
that's just because you have to make turns every 2 seconds.
You have to make turns in GTA as well, or in Red Dead. But Red Dead, that horse is only going 15, 20 miles an hour, and it takes about the same amount of time.
Yeah, true. Very true. yeah, you're flying through there, and and I mean, it's just one of those things where I respect what they do because what they're doing with the world, because the world really does feel real. I mean, when you're walking down the street, you don't even have to do anything. You'll see the cops chasing after people having shootouts, or you see people get. Usually those are random encounters, people getting robbed, but you have street performing. I mean, the world almost feels like it's real.
Oh,
Just how people are walking by, they'll say something. Everyone's apparently an asshole in this world.
Oh, yeah, like I said, I just walk into a haircut parlor at one point and it's being robbed.
Oh, wow. It is funny though. If I'm ever being Trevor and I walk by somebody and they're like, "Fuck you, man," for no fucking reason at all, I beat them to death. I will go over there and punch them and stomp on them until the cops come. And the cops are so easy to lose in this game, which I appreciate. I mean, I've heard a couple people bitch about it, like, "Hey, the cops are too easy." I like the fact that they're lazy cops, because nothing annoyed me more in Grand Theft Auto 4 than spending like a half an hour trying to lose the goddamn cops. That actually, one of my complaints can be is when you're out of the cop's sight, it takes so goddamn long for that little star to finally go away that I get annoyed. I'm just sitting there waiting, because they can't find me, so I'm just sitting in this alley just waiting for the stars to go away. I'm like, holy fuck, this is annoying.
And then, just when you're about to go away, that one cop who's like, "Hey, have we checked over here?"
Yeah, he just happened, and you get right in his little cone, and then all of a sudden it's start over. It gets a little tiresome. I think that they're easy to lose, but they get annoying. I mean,
I just think it's fun, they're like, it dies out right before their cone of vision passes in front of you, and they drive right by you. "Oh, hey, that looks like a guy." It's past 30 seconds. It's not our problem anymore.
I know, they are pretty lazy. I do have to say they're lazy, but they're like fucking Sherlock Holmes, where there was a mission where you have to get like a fire truck. So I'm like, I didn't know I could just call the police on my phone or the fire department. So I literally just light my car on fire just to get them to come there. Of course, the police get called, which would be understandable. But the fact that I put it away, I'm behind an alley waiting for the police to leave, and somehow they knew it was me. They somehow figured it out that Franklin was behind that corner all the way over there, and we're gonna go shoot his ass. Maybe they just saw a black man and like, it must be him.
That's okay. Even better, I did a mission where I'd drop a car off for a guy at the airport. And as he's getting in his private jet to fly away, I throw a sticky bomb on it, drive away, nowhere near the airport, detonate the sticky bomb, and the screen shakes just a little bit to show that it exploded, and the cops are after me. I'm probably like 4 miles away by this point.
Yeah, you're like, how do they know? And it's kind of cool though. I've noticed, like, if you kill people before they call the cops technically never get called.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like I have had that happen a couple times where some asshole ran me over, so I get my revenge and I shoot him, and someone's like, "I'm calling the cops," so I shoot them, and I didn't get the cops called to me. I get in my car, drive away. I'm like, "Ha! I got away with murder."
One point, steal a car from someone. They call the cops, and this is a mission. They call the cops, and I destroyed the car trying to escape from the cops, so I failed. I start over. This time I just shoot his ass in the face, and he was never allowed to call the cops, so I never had a problem.
Yeah, but I do have to say the biggest thing about this gameplay that I could say that they changed, because essentially it's like a lot like Grand Theft Auto 4 with the driving, the way somewhat with the cops work, just everything about it is pretty Grand Theft Auto-y, except for the shooting. Finally, it only took them 5 games to do this, but finally Rockstar fixed the shooting. So they have a snappy shooting, like where it snaps to the next guy. You can actually take out a whole squad of like cops with, one clip if you're good enough, because you could just, all you do is like snap on the right stick and he goes to the next guy and the next guy and the next guy and the next guy.
I preferred it just because the assisted aiming aims to their chest usually.
Uh-huh.
So, I've gotten good enough where when you just pull the left trigger to aim, it snaps to the person. Just snap to them and then tilt up a little bit to shoot the head. So it's just headshot, 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 headshot.
Yeah, I mean they unlike the previous Grand Theft Auto, the only up that previous Grand Theft Autos had over this one was when you are in the car shooting. they could have gave you a little slightly bigger reticle when you're in the car shooting.
Yeah, sometimes like, shit, where's my reticle?
Yeah, I have no idea where it's at sometimes. And when you have many missions where you have to like try to, usually you don't have to try to take out a car, you only have to do that a couple of times, but sometimes you have missions where you have to take out bikers and you just shoot them off the bike. But that's such a pain in the ass at times where you're just like, okay, god damn it, I really wish I was Franklin right now because he's the only one that could slow down time so I can actually find the little dot.
Unless, you just have like an Uzi or something, just, got him.
Yeah, I actually would not use my Uzi ammo just for that fact. I would be like, no, I'm not using my Uzi because I need it just in case I ever get in a car chase. I do have to say, because there is an assload of shit to do in this game. They were touting 100 hours. There probably is 100 hours because you got like a 20-plus hour story. On top of that, those side missions, which multi-tier side missions.
Yeah,
then you got random encounters. Then you got challenge things, like where you get to do rampages, and I didn't really do any of those, but...
There's only rampage, and there's like 6 of them. And then you have pastimes and hobbies. Go to the movies, go to the strip club, go skydiving.
Oh yeah, you got all of that. And then, on top of all that stuff, you have, of course, the best part, messing around in GTA, where you could just, run amok, get away from the cops, make your character look ridiculous.
Hold up a convenience store.
Actually rob a place. This game has so much shit to do in it, it is unreal. Like, if you're one of those people that like, I only buy a few games a year, like 3 or something, this would be one of the 3. I'd say this is a must buy because this is like the Skyrim of this year, where you could just play it and never get bored. Or you could just keep going and going and going and going and going. Like, it does not matter. You can actually play hours into the game without even touching the story.
But I wouldn't really recommend, just because the story is what gives you the weapons, but that's just me.
Yeah, well, true. The story gives you the weapons, but I was talking,
Yeah. And more importantly, the story gives you the parachute.
It does. Well, I mean, what's more fun, Nick, than just jumping out of a perfectly good airplane and or blimp and just seeing if you could make it into like a swimming pool or something?
Oh, no, trust me. If you get that thing up to the highest altitude, it doesn't matter what you land in, you're gonna fucking die.
No, I know. I know you're gonna die, because I had to do that a couple of times a couple of missions that were a pain in the ass. And that is one thing. Alright, we've been stroking this game's dog the entire time. I have some problems with it. Some of the missions are fucking busy work. They're just there for fuck no reason why. Like, they have a mission pretty early on. I don't know if it's really early, but it's fairly early on, where you are Michael, and the entire mission basically is just do yoga.
No, that's not the entire mission.
Well, it's majority of the mission. I forget what the second part is.
Then you go do a drug deal with your son.
Okay, yeah, then you do a drug deal with your son.
He drugs you and you trip out, I thought that was awesome.
That was a little weird, yeah. But that yoga thing was such a pain in the ass. I was so sick of it. I was just sitting there, and it's like, hold your fingers at this janky position, and while pulling the triggers, and if you fuck up like 2 times, then you have to start all over. It was a real pain in the ass. And they have a couple missions. They don't have too many that are just like, that they just seem like they were just thrown in there for fuck no reason why.
It's to introduce that hobby.
No one plays Grand Theft Auto because I want to do yoga.
The people trying to do 100% do.
They don't need it.
Yes, they do.
I don't know anyone. No, they do not need yoga.
Yeah.
That part of the game could have been left out.
Yeah.
It's not even like a fun part. Like, I actually played the tennis part. Like, I played
I played the game of tennis.
And the tennis was actually fun, because it was actually like a virtual tennis game.
And I was actually good at it.
The yoga was not fun. I was like, okay, I don't know anyone who finds this fun. I don't know anyone who will find this fun. It's kind of just annoying and boring. And, that's just me kind of nitpicking at it right now, because it's really, it doesn't hurt the game, but it's just
I'm guessing it's also because you have a personal grudge against men doing yoga.
No,
and more specifically, you doing yoga.
I don't do yoga, but I don't want to be forced to do yoga. Like, if they would have just had that there as something to do, I couldn't complain about it. But the fact they force you to do it, I'm just kind of like, oh, go fuck yourself. They have a few of those like that, and then you could do, I was really happy about, back to being the good things, that you don't get phone calls as much as you did in, like, Grand Theft Auto 4, where you
No, this one's just texts and emails.
Yeah, this one was an assload of text that you didn't have to read. But unlike, Grand Theft Auto 4, you get calls from your cousin all the time. Hey, cousin, you want to hang out? I'm like, no. Just,
go fuck yourself!
I know. I gotta go do a cocaine drop off. You leave me alone. Don't you want to go play some pool? Leave me alone! And also, you didn't have to do any car races, which I'm glad, because I fucking suck at racing cars. So, I'm very glad.
I mean, Franklin can do car missions, which makes it easy, because he has the ability to drive really slow.
Yeah, we've been kind of mentioning these abilities. Let's talk about them a little bit. This is the first Grand Theft Auto where each character has different abilities. You got Franklin's ability, what Nick just said, where, you drive real slow, which helps. It helps if you're going really fast. Clicking the sticks, then you can make turns nice and easy and avoid hitting cars.
And sometimes also, he makes turns sharper in that ability.
Oh, yeah. And sometimes I forget I have it, and I get kind of pissed at myself because I'm like, oh, god damn it, I shouldn't have hit that thing because I have a meter right there. You got Michael's ability, which he basically has Max Payne's ability.
Yeah, he has bullet time.
Yeah, he has bullet time. And that makes life easy if you're getting surrounded by enemies. You're like, oh, this fucker's right here. Bullet time in the brain. Then you got Trevor's ability, which we already mentioned, where he gets into a fit of rage and his bullets just do a hell of a lot more damage. It doesn't go slow-mo or anything. I think it goes slightly slower, but...
Yeah, just a little bit.
Yeah, just a little bit. I mean, it's a little bit where you notice it's moving a little bit slower, but not enough where it's like, oh, well, it's clearly, this is easy. No, that ability, in my opinion, is really useful if you have a bunch of assholes lined up and you're just like, oh, motherfucker! I do often have to say the game kept the missions very, very unique. Like, no heist mission was like another. No mission was like any other. I mean, it was really cool. And they actually give you a choice in the way you do the heist, where you can be like, oh!
Go loud or go stealthy.
Yeah, it's go loud or go stealthy. I mean, even if you choose the stealthy, I have to say, people, it's gonna turn loud, no matter what. But it's either, do you want a higher body count than the other? I mean, that's literally how it is.
Each one has a different payout.
Yeah, it also affects on, you can pick, guys to go on the heist with you. And it's really cool though, if you pick some of the same people, they mention that they were on the previous heist with you. And some people will get killed in the heist too, which is awesome.
If you choose poorly.
If you choose poorly. If you choose someone who's shitty at their job, they get less cut, but they're shitty at their job. If you choose someone really good, they're more likely you're gonna have an easy work. And I just wanted to fly through it, so I kind of chose the guys that were good, because I didn't need money. By the end of this game, I was almost to $1 million as it was. So I'm just like, well, I'm not even gonna spend all this. I mean, the only thing I buy is bullets or guns or whatever. I mean, I don't go pimp out my ride. I don't do any of that.
I did for the final mission, because I went loud.
Well, yeah. Well, you can do it for the final mission. I kind of just did a couple things for the final mission to make it a little bit easier. But even
the final mission, I went all out. I was like, gee, screw it. I have like a couple million to spend. Why the fuck not?
Yeah. So, and then they have then you can buy properties, which, did you buy any properties? Because I have no idea what you do with those.
Yeah, so far I've bought in the pot shop. And the cab company.
Do you make money off them, or?
Yeah. You get like so much money every week, and sometimes they'll call you to do special things.
Huh.
Like, I know the pot shop's like, hey man, our truck just got stolen. Can you go get it back for us?
Oh, okay, that's interesting.
Or the cab company's like, yeah, we have a private contract that they requested our best driver. Get you up for it?
You're like, I own the goddamn company, don't, one last problem this is actually a problem in my opinion, not even a nitpick, but the flying controls. The flying controls are pretty fucking shitty.
I mean, they're flying controls. It feels like a flight simulator.
That's the problem. When you have the driving to kind of feel like more of a arcade type of driving, and then you have your flying act like it's a flight simulator, I would rather have had arcade flying where it's just, I understand the inverted look and maybe holding the trigger and stuff, but some of the stuff like with the helicopter was a huge pain in the ass. I hated flying the helicopter. I'm just like, oh god damn it. I mean, I did learn how to fly it. It's not like I couldn't fly. It was just such a pain in the ass where if they, I would try to avoid flying sometimes. I'd be like, I could just drive there. It's not a big deal. And so certain missions where they have you flying, it was kind of, especially one certain mission where you're flying a crop duster and you're chasing after a cargo plane, and that's all I'm going to say about the mission.
Chasing after a cargo plane, and you can't go more than like 500 feet above sea level.
Yeah, that's really annoying, and it's just kind of a pain in the ass. I was not a fan of flight anything. And even with Trevor, who's supposed to be really good at flying, I was just like, yeah, he's not that good.
Just because he's good doesn't mean you are.
I know, honestly. He's supposed to be really good at flying. It's like, I would have killed for some slow-mo flying, Trevor. I don't know why, especially since this game has a lot of flying missions. It has a lot of flying in it. So, and then they also had a couple busy work where when you were down at the dock and you had to just be a dock worker. I understand you were scoping out the place, but, busy work. I don't like busy work in my games. If I wanted to go to work, I'd just go to work.
It's just them trying to make it realistic.
Yeah, there's nothing in this universe that makes me believe it's realistic. I mean, the fact that these guys aren't the most wanted men in America by the end of this game amazes me. Because, like, you kill the military, you kill FBI agents, you kill an assload of just, cops. I mean, there's no way these guys wouldn't be being manhunted down. They're like, oh, we'll lay low. I'm like, you're still in the same fucking state. That's not really laying low.
Well, I mean, they kill everyone who sees them faces, so there's no one to,
true.
Testify against them because they're all dead.
Yeah, that is true, but it's just...
You can't have a bad reputation if there's no one alive to give you a bad reputation.
Yeah, they'd still be being chased down. Like I said, I understand they're going for realistic, and it would have been a real pain in the ass if, like, oh, you did your, third heist mission, guess what? Now you're wanted by the cops anytime they see you. Like, they're gonna try to profile you, so you have to get away from them. Or they could have went with Mafia 2 style where, you have to follow the traffic signals and shit, and if you go over the speed limit, cops go after you. That would be a huge pain in the ass. I'm glad they don't do that. The only way you get cops after you is if you start killing. So, I mean, that's understandable.
Or if you accidentally bump into a cop.
Oh yeah, like, I've told you this, about this, just seeing the cop hit a bike, just some dude on a bike, they hit him, and they get out of their car and start shooting him. I was like, hey, you hit, I almost wanted to go defend the little guy, run up to him, but he was a biker, and I hate people who ride bikes in the middle of the road, so maybe they got sick and tired of that shit too. Like, shit, I rode my ass, and, fuck it, he hit us. If anyone asks, go plant some cocaine on him. Anything else you want to mention about this game?
No. I think we've covered all the bases multiple times.
Yes, we've covered a lot. We're probably going to even cover more people because we're planning on throwing out a spoiler show to talk about the game's endings and just the different game endings, really. I mean, it won't be as long as this, so, and actually mention more about the GTA Online with the spoiler, one. So, that is it, everybody. What do you want final thoughts on this, Nick?
It is a buy.
It is a buy. What rating would you give it?
A.
A? Just solid A?
Yes.
Alright. I'm gonna be with you. It's an A. It's not, it's too bad they won't hear that. It's not an A plus because it does have some nitpicks where I'm just like, oh, but it has a fantastic story. It's worth a buy. It's worth everyone checking out. So I highly suggest everyone try, I mean, even if you're not a GTA fan, you're probably still gonna like it. I mean, unless you're one of those, Grand Theft Auto haters, then you're probably disagreeing with us right now anyways. Or, oh, he's not that good.
If they're a hater, they probably aren't listening to this, so fuck them.
Yeah. Well, you know the internet, the people listen to shit they hate just so they can complain. So.
Yeah, well, fuck them anyway.
Yeah, fuck them anyways, as, I don't know. I was gonna say how Trevor would say, just like, fuck you, you piece of shit!